All right, so good day, class. So today, let's talk about office and project management. Okay, so as architects, we should not only concern ourselves with design, but we should also know how to run our offices. So, class, I encourage you to learn and research more about this because there's a lot of things that you must learn, such as how to register your practice, how to file your taxes, okay, and how to prepare your contracts. Okay, so architecture is not just about drawing, you should also know how to manage your office. That is if you want to be self-employed or have your own firm someday. Okay. But you could also go into employment if you want, or go into the academy. Okay, so it would really depend on the branch uh, that you'll be, or the branch or the path that you'll be taking in the near future. So when you say about office and project management, so office management is a profession involving the design, implementation, evaluation, and maintenance of the process of work within an office or other organization in order to sustain and improve efficiency and productivity. So when you manage your office class, it's about the processes that you're going to implement so that you could improve the efficiency and productivity uh, in your workplace. Okay? So as an architect, um, someday you'll be handling your own stuff. You're going to have your own draftsman, your own apprentice, an office secretary, or if your practice becomes big, you're going to have a lot of departments. So that's why office management is really a necessity. Of course, you could hire people to do this for you, but nevertheless, you should understand the basics, okay? So that your office would still run. Um, uh, Even if some people might, what you call this, transfer to another bigger opportunity. I think it's happening right now, especially with millennials. They don't tend to stay in a singular office. They tend to look for opportunities. Uh, they don't stay quite long, maybe around 2, 3 years. That's why if you're going to have your own office class, you should understand how to run it. So you could run the office even without your office manager. Okay, so an office manager is responsible for monitoring and reviewing systems, usually focusing on specific outcomes such as improved timescales, turnover, output, sales, etc. So they may supervise or manage a team of administrators, allocating roles, recruiting and training, and issuing assignments and projects. So that's the work of the office manager. Um, when you are just starting your practice task, that's the task that you're going to take. You have to learn how to allocate assignments and projects to your apprentice and to your junior architects in your firm. So if it's still a very small and young practice, you probably have a draftsman or an apprentice. So you should know how to manage their time, okay, so that your office would be efficient. Okay. So I think most of you are under me in our project management in construction. So when you say in project management construction course, so when you say project management, it's the practice of initiating, planning, executing, controlling, and closing the work of a team to achieve specific goals and meet specific success criteria at a specified time. So what's important to know about project management class is that it's a temporary endeavor that happens when you do a certain project. For example, if you have a project for a two-story residential building, it has a time span within you must finish that project within the time frame. Okay. So a project is a temporary endeavor designed to produce a unique product, service, or result with a defined beginning and end. Okay, so usually time constrained, and often constrained by funding or staffing. Of course, you could only allocate limited resources in every project undertaken to meet unique goals and objectives. So, just goes to say that each and every project class, they are unique. Okay? So the goals and objectives are unique for each project. That's something that the basic that you must understand about project management. So architectural management class, it falls into two distinct parts. The first is office management. Okay, so managing your firm, and project management, managing your different projects in your firm. So office management provides an overall framework within which individual projects are commissioned, designed, and completed. Both parts have the same objectives, but are typically addressed by separate management systems. Office management involves the allocation and financing of resources, principally premises, trained staff, and computer systems, and on establishing and charging appropriate fees for the services rendered. Okay, so if you have an office staff class, I think you could relegate to them the task for charging fees to your client. Okay, I think just like doctors, if you notice, okay, so they have their secretaries, and then it's not the doctor which receives the professional fee, but the secretaries already. So your free class, how you're going to structure your firm. So project management focuses on time scales, developing a design from initial concept to working drawings, and managing the construction process. So the essence of architectural management is to ensure that work on a project is cost effective to achieve a balance between profitability and design quality. Okay, so you should always find class balance between profit and design. So it's not good that you only focus on profit. Okay, but it's also not good that you focus only on the design quality, such that you neglect the profit, because in that way your uh, firm won't run, because you won't be able to pay the wages and salaries of your office workers. So it's just a matter of balance. So um, find your formula someday when you start your office. Okay. So it's project management. Of course, you have the small project. When you say the small project, I think the smallest project architects can undertake, um, uh, probably in their design one, is a residential building. Then and it could go as big as airports or malls or hospitals if you're already a well-known firm or a well-known architect. Okay. And project management also concerns with the project teams. Of course, that's each project you could create teams for them, different teams. So it's up to you, if you are the owner of the firm, how you're going to structure the different project teams handling different projects. So when you say project teams, you're not only talking about construction. We're also talking about um, the project teams handling the design and implementation as well. Okay. And you have project operations, and of course project controls. So controls are important, last, that you could make sure that your project it starts on time on the allocated schedule and ends on time on the projected date that it will end. Okay. You should also have good project control so that you could control the resources and manpower that you're going to pour into it, because the resources are limited, okay, in every project. So that's something that you must really handle and manage well. Okay. Then you also have risk management. It's about managing risk and opportunities. So risk class is like a coin. Okay. Risk and opportunity is on one coin but on opposite sides. So if you can overturn risk, it can turn into an opportunity. That's why, class, you should know how to handle and mitigate risk and identify them during the stages of the project. Of course, to do that effectively, you could read academic literature. But I think the most effective way of managing risk is through experience. So as you grow older, as you handle more and more projects, as you mature as an architect class, then it will become uh, quite manageable for you to handle certain levels of risk. Then of course you have firm insurance also. Then interprofessional relationships, you have inter-firm alliances. So inter-firm alliances, it happens usually in large projects. Let's say we're talking about mega projects, for example, airports. Okay, so a different firm could be handling the exterior, different firm could be handling the interior design, and a different firm could be handling some of the specialty systems inside the airport. So it would just really depend on the scale and how you're going to cooperate with each other. Then of course you have design team arrangements. So it will be up to you how you're going to arrange your design team. It would be best thus in arranging your design team that you know the personalities of the different draftsmen or architects inside your firm. Okay? So you know their strengths, their weaknesses, and how you're going to develop them to become better professionals and persons. So small scale project management is specific type project management handles smaller projects. So these are otherwise unique, of course, time delineated. Then when you say small scale project management class in architecture, like what I've said, I think it's related to what you encounter when you're still in design one. For example, residential buildings. But when you're already handling larger projects like malls, airports, you need a project manager for it. Then you need to uh, learn a lot of techniques, project management techniques. Of course, you could study that if you become a project management professional or PMP. So read the project management body of knowledge class. Then I encourage you to take the exam for the project management professional. I think you could find courses which are affiliated by PMI so that you could take it. Okay, so projects are characterized by these following factors. You have the short duration, low person hours, small team, size of the budget na balance between the time committed to delivering the project itself and the time committed to managing the project. Okay, so I think there's something wrong with the statement here. Okay, so just take note of this class. Okay, by the following factors. Okay, should be able to delete this one. So let's talk about a project team. So as a project team is a team of members who should belong to different functions and are assigned to activities for the same project. So usually class in big projects, project team, the people that involved in it, they usually take that from uh, different departments. Okay, if there's a project, for example, in a big firm, for example, a high-rise building, so they're going to take someone from the structural department, from the mechanical department, from the architectural department, from the electrical department to work on it. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily mean that they work what you call this, they work on the same division. Okay, so they usually come from different departments. So since a project is a temporary activity, once the project is concluded, then the project team is also disbanded. Okay, so that's why it's hard sometimes for a project manager class to manage a team from different departments because the members of this uh, project team, they usually report to they're different functional managers. For example, if you take someone from the mechanical department, okay, that team member does not only report to the project manager of that certain project, but he or she also reports to the manager of the mechanical department. So which makes it hard sometimes to manage because members of the project team, they have multiple responsibilities. So that that's the time when your skills as a project manager will come in. Okay. So it's quite complicated class, especially if you're already doing uh, a big project. Okay. That's why for your project management, for your project management technique to work, you must have good uh, professional relationships with your other co-workers or the functional managers handling the different members of your project team that could easily coordinate to them if you want something done. Okay, so let's go. So what is a project operation? So what is an operation? So operations are the ongoing execution of activities that produce the same output or provide a repetitive service. So operations don't produce anything new, but they are necessary to maintain and sustain the system. Operations are used to run regular business models, achieve the goals of the business, and sustain the business. Okay, so in our field class, operations could mean like during the project implementation, or operations could mean during what's happening inside your firm. So or the operation of your firm. So when you operate a firm, you have to look at different uh, things. For example, are you going to handle your taxes? Are you going to handle um, some of the legal requirements for your firm to exist? And how you're going to handle, of course, the salaries of your staff. Okay, then we have control. So project control is a work process of the developing plans, measuring the actual performance, and creating reports for the project schedule, cost and resources by data gathering, status analyzing, comparing actual performance with plan, and communicating with project teams to support right and effective decision making. So the project controls need a forecasting ability, developing corrective action, and change management. So like what I've said before, class, uh, project controls are necessary so that you'll be able to determine if you are still on track. Of course, you must be able to compare what is the plan versus what happens in the actual. Okay? If you're able to do that, that's the time when you're able to develop a solution if there's some slippage. Okay, so I think we're going to end our lecture for office project management on this slide. So if you have any further questions or clarifications, class, we're going to have a synchronous lecture next meeting. Okay, so thank you.